Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to dive into the really profound, but also super practical wisdom of Shri Hit Premanand Govind Sharan Ji Maharaj. We'll be looking at his guidance for anyone on a spiritual path, trying to figure out how to handle both our inner world and, everything the outer world throws at us.
So, let's just jump right in with a question that I think gets to the very heart of the journey. It's a doubt that probably creeps in for almost everyone at some point. Is this feeling I have real? Is this love for God genuine, or am I just faking it? Just going through the motions?
And the answer Maharaj Ji gives is, well, it's kind of surprising, but also incredibly freeing. He says that the road to real, authentic love doesn't mean you have to feel it perfectly from day one. Actually, it can start with what feels like an imitation. It all begins with the simple act of declaring it again and again.
And this analogy just brings it all right down to earth, doesn't it? Think about it. Our words, the thoughts we repeat over and over, they literally shape our feelings in our human relationships. Well, it's the exact same principle for our spiritual life. The mind eventually believes what you tell it consistently. So if you keep affirming your love for the divine, that little seed of an affirmation can grow into something totally real and heartfelt.
Okay, so if we start with that declaration, how do we actually build on it? How do we get this spiritual journey to, take flight? Well, Maharaj Ji gives us two foundational pillars that are absolutely essential. And you can think of them just like the two wings of a bird.
And what we have here is this really crucial balancing act. On one side, you've got Ashriya, which is faith. This is that deep, unwavering trust that divine grace has your back, that you're supported. And on the other side, you've got Prayatna, or effort. That's the work you have to put in every single day, the chanting, the practice. One is about surrender, and the other is about discipline.
And this just nails the point perfectly. I mean, you can have all the faith in the universe, but if you don't actually make the effort to flap your wings, you're just going to sit there on the ground. But on the flip side, you can flap like crazy, but if you don't trust in grace, you're not going to get very far. You need both. They're both completely essential to get anywhere.
So, with that foundation of faith and effort in place, let's look at how that prepares us for what is, let's be honest, our biggest challenge, that constant battle that's happening inside our own minds.
This is a moment I think every seeker dreads. You feel like you're making progress, you've let go of some old negative habits, and then, bam! Out of nowhere, the mind brings them roaring back. It starts screaming for those old comforts, those old patterns, and the advice here isn't some magic trick to make it all go away. It's about building a whole new kind of inner strength.
It's such a profound insight. Spirituality isn't about having a life free from struggle. It's about developing the ability to endure the struggle. That intense craving, that mental pull, it's described here as a burning sensation. And the real practice isn't to run from it or give into it, but to just sit with that heat, to withstand it. And every single time you do that, you're forging this incredible inner resilience. You get stronger for the next time.
And to help us actually stand firm in that fire, Maharaj Ji gives us a really practical toolkit. These are things we can do in our daily life to weaken those powerful impulses. Eating moderately so you're not sluggish or agitated. Observing silence to quiet down all the external noise that just fuels the mind's chatter. Sleeping a bit less to keep the mind sharp. And, this is a big one, making sure your company and even your food are pure because they have a direct effect on your state of mind. Each one of these helps to calm your whole system down, giving your true self a much better chance to win that inner battle.
All right, so we've looked at that internal battle. Now let's zoom out and turn our attention to the world around us. How do we take these same principles and apply them when we're dealing with all the challenges and complexities of daily life?
This is one of the highest goals, right? But it's also one of the toughest things to actually put into practice. It's one thing to see the divine in a kind, loving person, but what about in someone who's being hurtful or negative? The key, we're told, is to shift our whole perspective with a really simple but powerful analogy.
And this electricity analogy just makes it all click. Think about it. Divinity is like the electricity flowing from the power company. It's one single universal source. Now, that same power flows through a heater and it produces heat. It flows through an air conditioner and it produces cold. The electricity is the same, but the appliance, the way it manifests, is different. So our job is to try and see that one divine power in everybody, even if we don't particularly like the function of their appliance, their personality.
And this is so important when you find yourself in a situation you really can't change. Maybe a difficult family or a tough work environment that just doesn't support your path. You might have to do things that feel challenging, but what matters is your inner state. God sees your heart's intention. That internal purity becomes your shield, and it protects you no matter what's going on outside.
So we've looked at the battle within our minds and the challenges from the world outside. And after going through all these different struggles, Maharaj Ji always brings it back home. He points us to one supreme, all-powerful solution that covers everything.
And at the end of the day, this is the core teaching. It doesn't matter if you're fighting a craving, dealing with a difficult person, or just feeling lost on your path. The anchor is always the same. The practice of Naam Jap, just constantly repeating the divine name, is the most powerful tool we have. It's the key to every single lock.
And you know, this is so much more than just a mindless repetition. Chanting the name is this incredibly dynamic, transformative thing. It works like a shield because it keeps the mind occupied, so there's no room for negative thoughts to even get in. And it also works like a sword, filling your heart with this positive energy, this light and joy that gives you the strength to endure those burning sensations we talked about. It purifies past karma and is, quite simply, the most direct path.
In fact, this practice is held in the absolute highest regard. It's not just seen as a technique to gain knowledge. It's considered paravidya, the supreme knowledge itself. The idea here is that other paths might talk about the destination, but this practice is a direct line to it. The name and the divine are not separate, so when you hold onto the name, you are holding onto that ultimate reality itself.
And that brings us to this absolutely beautiful final thought. We've been given this priceless, wish-fulfilling jewel, the divine name. We already have it. Our entire spiritual journey, through every single battle, internal and external, really just boils down to one simple, profound job. Don't let it slip from your grasp. Just hold on. What could you achieve if you simply never let go of the most precious jewel you'll ever possess?